and welcome to another episode of Wise Woman Wednesdays. My name is Jennifer Regular, and I am the Soul Illuminator at Lighting the Path, but I also get to host this show where I bring incredible women, phenomenal women, really, from all around the world to share their message and what they've been learning on their journey to really step into who they came here to be and do what they came here to do, and inspire you with their message to do the same. Today I have Lynn Tranchell from Buffalo, New York, joining me, and she has been helping business leaders achieve their goals for over 40 years. As a coach who specializes in the science of success, Lynn has a passion for helping entrepreneurs and business professionals achieve success in all areas of life and business without sacrificing a thing. Lynn's many accomplishments reflect the fact that she knows when it's time to take the lead. With her quiet, centered style of leadership and a philosophy that incorporates developing leadership skills in others, Lynn excels at creating environments in which people feel empowered to do what they are called to do. She understands when to step up and when to step back. Her sense of balance is one of the first things that people notice about her. Her respectful, gentle way of moving through this world and changing it for the better. And I am so grateful to have Lynn here. She's going to be telling us all about the art and science of transformation. Welcome, Lynn. It's such a wonderful and a delightful time to be having you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is wonderful.
Absolutely. And I'm curious what lit your path, Lynn. How did you develop this passion for what you're doing now?
Well, I've always been a lifelong learner. Even when I was in the corporate world, I took classes and I learned all of the time. And it was a moment in, I'm not sure how many years ago, where I started taking classes at church and then I started teaching classes. And I really loved it when the light bulb went off. You know, people see things differently and then start doing things differently, and they really come into their own. And that's why I became a coach.
Yes, that's what I love too, Lynn, is seeing that sparkle that comes back into people's eyes. That's my version of success,
Yes,
when they're
definitely.
lit up. Yes, absolutely. And so tell us more about that journey and some of the obstacles that you had to go through to find your way through.
Yeah, so it was actually my first coaching certification was through my church.
Hmm.
And I discovered I still loved coaching. So I went out looking for a more secular coaching certification, and I found one and received that. So then it was just a matter of working through it. And I decided I had this whole plan already in place on how I was going to achieve it. I went down to 4 days a week at work, and I was planning on going down to 3 days a week at the end of the year, and then the next year quitting. And I came back from a training session where I was learning more skills about being a coach. And my boss sat me down and said, "There was a big layoff last week. You're on the list to go." So here I had this wonderful plan of taking it slow, having everything in place, and then I was given the gift of leaving my corporate job. And at that point, I really could have very easily stayed in my comfort zone
Mm.
and gone back and got in another corporate job so that I was still on that path of working my way down slowly to become a coach. And I didn't do that. I had the choice of staying in my comfort zone or going for it, and I went for it. And on that day, when many people would have been devastated to be let go, I became a full-time life coach. And that has really helped propel me forward in just knowing that I'm in the right place.
Oh, amazing. Amazing to be able to just leap in forward and to move out of your comfort zone and into your growth zone. Right? Really,
Yeah.
really became passionate about what you do, full-time life coach now. And so what do you enjoy most about that?
Well, I still enjoy the learning. I still am taking lifelong learning in my part of my coaching. And when I go out and learn new things, I bring it back to my clients, to my my world to my comrades, to everybody that I talk to. And I just love sharing that information and helping other people learn and grow as I learn and grow.
Yes. And it's not just information, right, Lynn? You're actually
Yeah.
taking people through transformation,
Yes.
whole process. So tell us about that. And you call it the art and science of transformation. So I'm really curious about that.
Yeah, there's really 3 steps to transformation. The first step is the vision. You have to have a vision of the life of the business that you would love to become. And then once you have that vision and you 5-sensorize it and really learn to step into being that person, the next part is the vibration, which is actually being that person, stepping into it with all 5 senses. And when that happens, something else happens to your subconscious. Your subconscious goes, whoa, 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 whoa. You're doing something that I don't know about, and I'm not sure I like. So your subconscious goes out of its way to keep you where you are. Just like when I was laid off, my subconscious was just saying, go get another job. You'll be just fine. Get another job. Stay safe. Your subconscious is always trying to get you to stay safe. So you step out of that comfort zone and your subconscious reacts and responds. So to be able to stay in that vibration of your vision, I have this process called the AIRR method, AIRR, which is awareness, just notice. And then you want to interrupt that. You want to stop those thoughts and then release them and replace them with the thoughts that support your vision. And then the last step is action. And action is like the ground wire to electricity. Without a ground wire, nothing happens. So you take action in support of that reframed thought, that reframed paradigm, and you step into it. And I like to say, be it until you see it. Step into being that person. And that's how you become that person.
Yes, a whole embodiment, right?
Yes.
But an embodiment actually of who you truly are, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Really is. It's
Coming
really
back to ourselves,
come
really.
to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's who we were born to be. I believe that we were all born to be rich, abundant, and successful. And over the years, things happen that, the subconscious gets these ideas and tries to keep us from being that.
So what is the first step then, Lynn, to be able to recognize and realize who we really came here to be?
The only question you really need to ask is, what would I love? And when you ask, what would I love, you're on a different vibration. If you look at David Hawkins has these levels of consciousness, and the fear levels are way down here in a low vibration. Love and peace are way up here in a high vibration. So asking, what would I love? Not what do I think I can do? What does the economy say I can do? What does my education say I can do? What would I love? You see things differently, and then you're able to step into that place of becoming that person.
Incredible. And what kind of transformation do you actually get to witness in your clients?
One of my recent clients was a people pleaser. Gina was a people pleaser. And most of my clients are entrepreneurs. They own their own company. So as a people pleaser, she would take on everything. People that ask her to do something, she'd say yes. Ask her to do something, she'd say yes. So her time was full of all of these things that she didn't necessarily like doing. And most of them she was not getting paid for them. So she learned what her boundaries were. She learned what she would love her business to be. And she doubled her income and is on her way to tripling her income.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, but it's all just stepping into being that person that you would love to be.
Yes, really creating a vision around that and feeling into it. And you spoke about the multisensory experience of that too. So can you share a little bit more about that, how we can do that?
Yeah, if you just take all 5 senses and bring all 5 senses into it and really get that feeling tone. What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? Who are you being? How do you walk out the door in the morning? What clients do you have? How do you interact with your clients? Do you, and I like to go into like 4 quadrants of your health and well-being. And this applies to your business too, the health of your business, the relationships, career, creative expression. And in your business career, creative expression would be how you bring new products in. So, and then time and money freedom. It's not, and that's separate from your career because it's what you do with your time and money. And that includes philanthropy. If you're a business owner, do you pay yourself? Do you take time off? So all of those facets are all rolled up into one. And that really helps you to see it and really then take the action to support it.
Right. So it's really part of it setting up the conditions, but a lot of it is opening up through each of those senses and really making it a whole experience, really, for one thing. But then it sounds like that experience attunes you to the vibration that's needed to attract exactly that, exactly what you're envisioning and wanting and needing. Some people say, though, that it's almost limiting in a way because then you become fixated on a certain kind of outcome. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I always have people end their vision with this or something better still. And that is the part that leaves it into the open hands of future possibilities. Because you're right. Once we all live there at any given moment, there's infinite possibilities. And as soon as we say this, we collapse that wave, sort of, so to speak, into that one outcome. So if we keep it in those open hands of possibilities, then even though we're moving toward our vision, if something better comes along, we'll be able to recognize it and we'll be able to incorporate that better into it. And I always tell my clients, you never change your vision out of fear. You can change it out of something better, though.
Yes. Love that. Thank you. What is your vision for humanity and for the world? What's your bigger vision?
Actually, it is, it's kind of hard to describe. It is more embodying the abundance and the wealth and the support. And I really see people just helping each other. It reminds me of this commercial that I saw where somebody, bumps into something and it goes to fall and that person picks it up and gives it back. And then that person goes on and does the same thing to the next person. So it's just a domino effect of love and compassion is what I see. And really getting out of those low vibrations that keep us seeing fear and acting out of fear. We want to act out of love and not fear.
Absolutely, exactly. And an acronym actually that I like to use for love is lots of vital energy.
I like that.
And it seems to really speak to what you're talking about here. Having that vitality, having lots of vital energy, and being able to share that compassionately. Every person, every day, making that difference.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that your acronym for love also leads into that vibration that I talk about too.
Yes, exactly.
Vibration, yeah.
I love that. So what do you think that vibration really feels like? How would you even describe that for people who may not know what it's like to feel anything than what they're feeling right now, for example?
Yeah, what I like to describe it as, if you walk into a room and people are arguing, you can feel that tension and you almost, feel the anger and start getting angry. And yet if you walk into a room where everybody is happy, you get that happy feeling. So it's a matter of staying in the happy feeling, even when you're in a room where there's a lot of anger and frustration going on. So if you can keep that and memorize that feeling of love, peace, and abundance, and kind of create a bubble around yourself, almost, so to speak, so that as you do other things, those other things will sort of bounce off the bubble. And I really love the saying by Eleanor Roosevelt that all the water in the world won't harm you unless it gets inside of you. So if we can keep our love, peace, and abundance bubble around us and not let those other fear feelings come in, that's where we really are living in that place of love, peace, and abundance for all.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you. And what else can you tell us about the art and science of transformation?
The thing is that transformation is uncomfortable. It disrupts your ego, and your subconscious doesn't like to be disrupted. And I liken it to, I'm probably dating myself now, Lost in Space, when that robot would go off, danger, danger, danger,
Yeah,
danger.
yeah.
That's what your subconscious is doing in very ways that you wouldn't even recognize it. It's trying to keep you safe. And what's keeping you safe is actually sometimes keeping you from moving forward and stepping into that place of abundance. And the transformation is uncomfortable. So whenever you're doing something and it feels uncomfortable, I like to say that's a good sign. Because if you were just sitting on the couch eating bonbons, your subconscious would be fat, dumb, and happy, wouldn't say a word. But as soon as you start hearing that voice, it's a good sign. It means you're moving forward. And as you move forward, even through the discomfort, it gets easier and easier. And that really is where the transformation is happening, is moving through that discomfort.
Yes, you bring up a really good point too, because what's that law of physics, right? That when we start creating momentum, naturally there's resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the story we create around that resistance that it can either continue to propel us or repel us or move us back or hold us back. So I really appreciate that you brought that up and to let us know that we are on the right track, actually,
Yes.
if we encounter some of that resistance and that pullback, because yeah, it's part of the transformational process. And transformation can also be seen as transcending form, right? Going beyond what
Yes.
was before, right? Or our
Exactly.
stories, or going beyond, mundane living situations and exploring what else is possible.
Yes, exactly. And it's I know I think that's one of the reasons that a caterpillar and butterfly are a symbol of transformation. If you think about a caterpillar moves into the chrysalis and becomes a butterfly. And in that process, it actually dissolves and recreates itself. So if the caterpillar at some point knew what it would have to go through, it probably wouldn't do it. And that's the difference between humans and animals, is we are the only creature who can consciously change our circumstance. Whereas the caterpillar can't. The caterpillar just does what is natural. But our subconscious knows maybe that it might not be safe and says, no, 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 you don't want to do that.
Right. I love that. The caterpillar just does its thing.
Yeah.
Becomes a butterfly. There's a quote that I remember from Maya Angelou too that said, the caterpillar took many forms, or the butterfly took many forms before it ever took flight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And sometimes it does take a few different tries or different ways of being or different roles that we may take on throughout our careers and our lives before we can really take flight.
Yeah.
Before
And
we
I
can
think
really
that,
feel the freedom to fly.
yeah. And once we get to that place where we are following our vision, it seems like magic to others. We're going through the process, so we know it's not magic. It seems like magic to others, though, and we're just in this place where things get easier and easier. And it's not that it necessarily gets easier, it's just that we don't have that resistance, because that resistance really puts a lot of pressure on us and really keeps us from moving forward. So it makes it almost like we're walking through snow or something like that instead of just walking. So it's that resistance that our subconscious puts on us that makes it difficult. So when we can remove that resistance, it just is a lot easier. We just go with it. And that's another thing that people say is to go with the flow. It's much easier to go with the current of the water than to fight against it.
Yes, and even on a continuum, on the one side you have resistance, and on the other it's acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
And I can hear that in what you're saying too about the acceptance as well. Yeah, and someone might even say surrender or just that letting go. Yeah,
Right.
so beautiful. Oh, Lynn, I've been really enjoying our conversation today,
Yeah,
and I
me
know
too.
others might want to connect with you too. So how might they do that?
Yeah, my website is lyntranchell.com. I also have a Facebook group, Lynn Tranchell Coaching, and I'm on LinkedIn under Lynn Tranchell.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. And I'll make sure all those links are in the description and the show notes as well, so people can easily click into that and be able to explore and connect. I wonder though if there's any other final words of wisdom while we have you here with us.
Yeah, just that know that asking the question, what I love, puts you in a different place. And then by actually stepping into it and accepting it and being it with all five senses and taking that action is really who we are meant to be. And that's where we see the transformation and we step into that new place of being and seeing. And it really does affect the whole world. By going through personal transformation, you're changing the world for generations. So think about it, your kids, everybody that you interact with and everybody they interact with gets that transformation and sees things differently, and then that allows them to be different also. So it creates a ripple effect in the world.
Oh, that's so awesome. So beautiful and very wise indeed. Thank you for that. And yeah, like you've been saying too, and as a reminder, is don't quit 5 minutes before the magic happens.
Yes.
Right? Trust the process.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a book, actually, there was a story in Think and Grow Rich, where these people were in a mine and they weren't finding the gold. They knew there was gold there, but they weren't finding it. And they actually stopped 3 feet from where the gold was. So we don't want to be stopping 3 feet from gold. We want to go for the gold and accept the gold and then live the gold.
Go for the gold, accept the gold, and live the gold.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lynn. I really appreciate you being here and sharing with us. And I enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was great. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. And I also want to thank each and every one of you that have been listening and watching us today on the Wise Women Wednesdays. And we'd love for you to subscribe so you can continue to join us every week here. And we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.